1, 2, 3, FCA!
Okay, continuing our throws for Jiu-Jitsu. This is a throw. It's a cool throw. It's not one I'm necessarily going to go for a lot, and I'll explain why in a minute, but I've got a grip on Noah, on his sleeve. What I'm going to do is I am going to step in, uppercut, up under his armpit, under his arm here, and my footwork is I'm going to step, and I'm going to drive my hips backwards through him and hinge over. This is the Seio Nage. So we're here, I come in, drive through, I throw, go down to my control position. So that is a basic Seio Nage. The footwork without Noah there, so you can see it, is I'm going to step, and then I step as I drive through. So I come here. It's my basic Seio Nage. There is a variation, which allows me to project more power into this throw. It's the drop Seio Nage. So I'm pretty much the same, but I'm going to drop to my knees. So I'm here, I come, and I drop to my throw. So these can be powerful throws, but I'm going to demonstrate in a second, if Noah goes for this throw on me, why I don't love the Seio Nage. Okay? It can be powerful, it can be effective, but anytime I am rotating and completely lining my back up with someone, I am creating a very high risk. So my risk to reward on this throw is not at a level that I am going to use this as a go-to throw. Be trained in class on how to do it because I want to teach a bunch of counters when someone else goes for it. To do that, we need to legitimately be able to go for the throw. But you won't often see me just going for one of these. Maybe a situation that's more likely is we're in some kind of scramble. He's coming over, he's getting a grip. I'm going to use the principles to throw him off me. That's where knowing this throw could be really useful, but it's not what I'm going to deliberately go and set up. Okay, carrying on the ground, from our turtle position, Noah is turtle. Maybe I have sprawled on his shot. I am going to take the hand inside. If Noah sits up, turns, we can see my fingers going inside the gi. I'm going at about clavicle level. About the level of his collarbone here. My fingers are going inside. My other hand is going to come under his armpit, and again, fingers inside. So if Noah's up, you can see these are the grips I'm looking for. Fingers inside, fingers inside. From there, when I pull, it's going to be this motion. So watch how I set this up. Noah's here, I get my grip, I get my second grip. Now I am going to pop my hips right up towards him. I'm going to turn through 90 degrees as I sit. Kick this over his back so he can't roll through. And then I'm going to straighten my arms, straighten my legs. This becomes an incredibly powerful choke. This has a big asterisk beside it as one of my happiest memory chokes. This is the first submission I ever hit as a white belt on a colored belt opponent. Training. And for all that we always say, you know, it's training, you never know what the other person was doing, what they were trying for, whatever. You don't celebrate submissions in sparring. What happens in class stays in class. That was the first submission I ever hit on a higher belt. The guy didn't want to tap and he went to sleep. So I was at a point as a white belt that I was feeling maybe I'm not getting any better, maybe this isn't for me. The little ego boost I got from being able to make that technique work and work effectively enough to put someone to sleep is what kind of got me through to staying long enough to get my blue belt, which kept me training to get my purple, my brown, my black, whatever. So over and over we'll say, you know, what happens in sparring really doesn't matter, but to each individual personally it matters, right? So that for me is why this choke always has a place close to my heart. There is a slight variation on this choke. When I'm here, I'm going to set this up. Sometimes Noah is really getting this arm back and defending, and I can't get hold of his gi. If I can't tension that gi, I'm not going to be able to lock this up as effectively, and he might wiggle out. So what I'm going to do, this hand, I'm just going to loosen down just a few millimeters, just maybe half an inch, just enough to make it a little bit of rotational space. I'm then going to punch this arm through. So I'm under one arm, over the other. And my head follows under his arm here. And we're going to roll through. As he rolls through here, if you come around so you can see it, my elbow, I'm going to make sure that doesn't lock me against the ground. So I'm going to bring my elbow through. I'm going to bring this arm back, and I'm pushing with my shoulder and kind of expanding my chest as I pull this choke. So it's kind of this motion. It becomes a very tight choke. And I've got the choke here, which is tightening, but I'm also pulling this arm back. I can armbar this arm at the same time as I'm going for this choke. So this is a really controlled position and an effective movement. I'm going to do it again. You can see me do it a little bit faster because this is a move that you can kind of roll into with a little bit of motion. So I'm here, I've got my first grip in, he's defensive, I'm going to bang, roll, and lock it up and bring that in for the choke. So I can roll through dramatically. The good thing with this is even though I've kind of rolled under from this position, even if I lose the choke, I'm going to come up into the top position. So I'm going underneath him, but I'm not giving up the top position. I'm already in the top position. The last thing I want to do is just give up and end up on the bottom. So because I roll all the way through, I end up on the top again. I don't consider this to be a bad risk reward because I'm going to end up on the top even if I lose the choke. Good training. Thanks for helping.